Welcome guys, welcome to another Goblination tutorial. And today I want to talk to you about having your Metahuman with body animation and data animation on the face, and you have head control and head rotation, and everything would work properly. Now there are few ways to achieve that. There are few ways to have data from your animation of the capture of the face and the head, and also how to do it manually with animation. So right now we have our goblin in the scene. I have nothing else other than that. And I need to create a sequencer and to put him in there. So I'll create a new folder and I'll call it sequences, because I might have a multiple of those. Go in and let's add a level sequence. Then we'll put it in sequences and we'll call it image Metahuman anim scope. We'll select our goblin, track, actor to sequencer, and add the blueprint to our sequencer. And as you can see, there's no animation at all. But that could be fixed. So if I'll go back to content browser, we'll go to the content. Let's go to the Metahuman identity. Let's go to the performance. And here we have a little bit of a test that I've done with our goblin. And then we have facial animation, and you can see that the head is also rotating, which is fine. Let's export this animation. We'll export it a couple of times. Let's export it into a folder called Animations. And under this, let's export it into Goblination folder. And in here, I will call it Metahuman Goblin Anim Test Head Bot On. And let's copy this and save. We'll make sure that the enable head movement is turned on. And here I would like to set the face archetype skeleton create. Let's just check that it works. And there you go. We have head movement, we have facial animation, and if you don't want to see it that way, if you want to see our goblin, let's check the goblin in the preview. And we have our animation previewing properly. Let's save this, set vol. Go back to the performance. Let's export this again under animations, Goblination. And since we copied the name, I'll paste it and then call it head rot off. We'll disable this and make sure that we are on base architect skeleton create. Let's just check that it works. Facial expressions move, but the head doesn't rotate, which is really what we need. But the goblin face instead, disable and get out. Then I can actually close this as well. Now that we have a sequencer and we have our goblin with no animation whatsoever, we can add animation to it. Now if I select our character, you can see, let's give us some more real estate here. We have the control rig. Like, I'm not sure that I need it for now, so I can basically get rid of the control rig. All I want is our body and our face. And let's put some animation on the face first. First thing that I would like you to do is, if you go to the animation, check the cogwheel here and make sure to activate allow incompatible skeletons. It will probably be turned off. Please turn it on so that it will let us have more animation capabilities on that specific rig or any rig in that matter. So let's check for the goblin. And then we'll check for the one that is head rotation on. Press on that. And now we should have our Goblin animation running properly. But you can see that the body is not really moving, and we'll fix that. That's not a problem. Now if I hover over the animation track right here, you can see that there are 909 frames to this animation. So what I'll do is I'll go to the 000, which is the first frame, and I will type in 909. So we'll go to the last one, and then I will set the range to be all the way to the end of our animation clip. If I play it, we can see that it all works beautifully, and we like it. That's great. Now we have nothing on the body, but we do want the body to move as well. Well, let's try and do something. Let's add an animation to this, an animation track, and we would search for the same animation. We'll search for the Metahuman Goblin test rotation head rotation on, and we'll give it the same animation. So now what I have is I have the Metahuman face with a head movement, but it also affects the body because we're using the same animation as we used on the head. We use it also on the body, which is kind of cool. And I kind of want to keep it that way. Now, like I mentioned before, there are few ways to have the head rotation plus the body, the facial animation, plus to have the body with animation. Then I kind of want to show you a trick that I use in Maya. If you're a Maya user, you probably know how to use, and you probably use it a lot. And I'm talking about animation layers. And that's what we're going to do here to maintain all that beauty of the facial data plus animation for the body. So right now, this is the A pose, which is the default pose that our Metahuman comes in. And I want to keep it that way for now. But what I'll do is I will now bake the facial rig to the control rig. We have our control rig moving, and we have everything basically stable now. Everything is on the control rig, and we have also the animation asset, but it is not active right now because the control rig take precedent on that. And let's save. One thing that you all need to understand is that Unreal is very finicky when it comes to Metahuman and animation and in the sequencer. So make sure that you save as often as possible. Now the body, I will also bake it to the Metahuman control rig option so that all the animation of those bounces that we gathered from the facial animation asset, it will be baked to the control rig as well. There you go. So now we have control rig with set keys on every frame, and also the facial animation is baked to a control rig. So how do I get this to be on, let's say, a different body animation? What if I want to have a different body animation? That's not a problem. Let's save the sequencer. Let's save all the files, all the levels. And now let's bring another Metahuman. Let's bring another version of our Goblin. People go to Metahumans, Goblin. Let's drag our Goblin right here. Zero it out. Now if I zoom out and I will move our Goblin just a tad to the left, we don't really need the snap. Now this is our first Goblin that we used. Let's name this Goblin Bro. And let's add this new one, Goblin 2, but we'll rename it Goblin 2. Now you can see that the Goblin 2 also has a control rig, and it's got the same as our Goblin 1, which is the one that we're going to get some information into this one. But for this, I want to give him a little bit more animation. So for the face, I'll give him the same animation, Goblin. But this one, I will give him the rotation, head rotation off. So what we'll have is we'll have the same animation, only it will not have any head rotation, which is fine by me. Another thing that I want to do is I want to give him an idle animation, and we don't have it. So what I'll do is I will add another head feature of content or content pack. Let's add the third person to the project. Though, if I go into content, if I go into characters, that has been headed from the third person. Go into mannequin, not the mannequin Unreal Engine 4. Go to the mannequins folder, animations, many, and then I will select those animations, right click, and I will do retarget animations as to animation assets. In the IK retargeter, let's select RTG mannequin. And here, let's make sure that it's SKM80 simple. And here I will check for preview. And it doesn't really matter if you select the male or female, they all carry the same rig. And let's retarget. Now all those animations will be retargeted to a preview rig that is basically shared by every other rig, like the Metahuman. Oh, now Unreal has created 8 new assets, but I want to be clean, so I will drag them all under the animations folder. I want everything in my scene to be clean, so it'll be easier to access them when I need to. I go back to the animations. I can actually create a new folder here, and I will call it retarget pennant. And let's add them into that folder. That way we have the Goblination animation plus the retarget stuff. If I go back to the sequencer, we'll save it. Now if I scrub, you can see that everything stayed the same way. But now the Goblin 2, which is our second one, I want to give that one an idle animation. I type idle, and I will select many, title, and we have our animation all in idle position of the body. Now let's drag this all the way to the end, because we want the body animation to loop around, which is great. I can see that everything is moving properly, except we don't have a head movement. But we're going to fix this. So let's save this again and again. Like I said, save as often as possible before you do anything wrong. Now I will take the face and I will bake it to the control rig. I'll select the control rig for the face and create. There you go. So now that it is baked, if I unmute control rig, you can see that we have a control rig for the face, and I'll do the same thing for the body. And again, I'm going to just save everything just to make sure that it doesn't crash on me. Select the body, right click, take the control rig, and I will make it to a Metahuman control rig. Done. It is done, but I don't see anything. And even when I scrub, you can see that nothing is moving when it comes to our second goblin. And that is because we are mute. The control rig is muted. So if you unmute it, we will have a control rig that is moving just like we needed to with the idle animation. So now this is where our magic begins. We have an animation on this control that is with head movement, And this one doesn't have head movement. And because I want to create an animation layer to the Goblin 2, which is our second one, I will basically get to the body, go to the Metahuman control rig, and I will press on the plus and add an additive layer, which is right here. If I go on top of it and make sure that the key list section is on, I'm going to leave it be for now. But what we'll do is we'll take some information from these controllers. So we'll take to control the animations from the first Goblin, which is right here. Let's make sure that I'm selecting the right controller. 1, 2, and let's select the head as well. We have 3 controllers selected. Let's just make it simple for us. Let's just see the selected control rig controls. Let's open this. We have 3 controllers here. Let's expand these. So all we need the information on all the rotations. So if I select these 3 rotations, scroll left, control, select these, and control, select these ones. So this is all the animation we need. This is all the information that we need. So just drag all the way to the end. So I'm selecting the rotation, roll, pitch, and yaw. Now I will go down and we'll shift select these 3 layers. Make sure that you don't select the scale as well. And then I will scroll down and shift select these 3. And I will press Ctrl C on the keyboard. And now I will basically go and select these 3 controllers. 1, 2, and 3. And because we have the selected controllers only, so it populates on the list the ones that we need. Let's select these 3. Control select these 3, even though you don't have to, because Unreal will know exactly what to do. Just go to the first frame again and press Ctrl V on your keyboard. And now if I play, you will see that we have copy-pasted the quotation of the head from this character to the one that is on an idle animation movement. And we have full facial animation plus head movement. Now, the way that I would like to do it is, now that I've done it, I will save this. And I will also get rid of the filter. And I will save the file again. Now, the thing that I'd like to do is maybe to rebake the animation to the control rig again. If you have any issues, if something is wrong, just save, get out of the sequencer. Sometimes you might need to even get out of Unreal Engine and reopen it because it is very finicky. So now what I'll do is I want to add a little bit of the body motion. I'll go into here. We can see that there's not really animation. Here, that comes from the main. This is how Unreal baked it. So I will take this and I will, let's go into selected control. Just see the translate. Let's see how it looks. There you go. We have some information in the graph editor. I will take these. Select them all. And I will do Control C again. And I will paste them here on this one. So this is 2. Let's select the translate. Go to the graph editor again. And do set a key. And now I will paste them. So I pasted the animation from this curve, this controller, and I pasted it on the controller of our rig that is basically the IK. And we keep the legs static on the ground. And that works okay for me. So what I can do now is basically take to the goblin from and basically get rid of it. So I don't really need it in the sequencer, and I don't really need it here as well. But we have full animation of the face, plus we have an idle animation on the body. Now if you want to change the animation, you're going to have to repeat the process of getting the animation from the neck 1, neck 2, and head controller and paste it on a new animation. And that's all it is, guys. That's all you need to have head animation on top of base animation on top of a loop or any animation data that you have on the body. And now we'll show you another trick on a different video. Well, make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, Goblination.